syllabus, but slowly we are trying to, getting into details basically of this chapter. So today in measurements, we would be thinking about, different systems of units, friends. Okay, so we are going to study different systems of units which were present earlier, and which type of system which we these days we adopt. Okay, so these are the things which I want to study. So give me a moment before I share the screen with you people. So let's talk about different types of systems which existed or which still exist. But then, okay, so system of units you can see. How do we define system of units? So it's the collection of all fundamental and derived units. Yesterday itself we have seen what all are fundamental quantities and what are derived quantities. So I have told you in the earlier stage itself there are 7 fundamental quantities and 2 supplementary quantities to that, which again comes under fundamental quantities, and other quantities other than those 7 plus 2 would be, categorized under derived quantities. You very well know, friends, what's the difference between, fundamental quantity and derived quantity. So fundamental quantities are the quantities, physical quantities basically, which won't depend on any other physical quantity for their measurements. Such quantities are fundamental quantities, whereas derived quantities are the quantities which would depend on 2 or more, you can see, units or quantities for their measurement. So a collection of all fundamental and derived units, we will call it as system of units. Okay, let's move ahead. Yeah, you can take a quick screenshot. Okay, get habituated to get take a screenshot so that these things would serve as notes for you people. All right, let's move ahead. Hopefully you have taken a screenshot of this. Okay, let's talk about system of units. They are classified. Units are classified in 2 groups basically: fundamental units and derived units. So a set of fundamental and derived units is called as system of units. Again, more clarification on what system of units can be considered as. Okay, let's move ahead. Let's talk about different systems of units. So let's go back to 18. Let's think about what happened in 1832. Gauss was the person who suggested to select any 3 physical quantities to be accepted as, system of units. So he suggested length, mass, and time. Okay, so length as a fundamental quantity, mass as a fundamental quantity, and time as a fundamental quantity. Again, having said that, when I say fundamental quantities, one should understand that I am talking about the quantities which won't be depending on any other quantities for their measurement. Okay, so this was a suggestion given. So we are just, viewing a history about how system of units originated or how things changed there onwards. Okay. Okay. So the first system which we come across in system of units is CGS system. So CGS system का full form है, C stands for centimeter, G stands for gram, and S stands for second. That means the length will be measured in centimeter, weight or the mass will be measured in gram, and you can see the time will be measured in second. So the first type of system which we come across is a CGS system. Let's talk about the second type. Second type we call it as MKS system. Now M stands for meter, K stands for kilogram, and S stands for second. Now when I say that, it means length would be measured in meter, whereas mass would be measured in kilogram and time would be measured in second. So this system is named as MKS system. So earlier, Americans followed MKS system basically. Okay, MKS and CGS. Then comes a system called as FPS system. FPS system for full form है foot pound second system. That means you can see the length will be measured in feet, then mass will be measured in pound, and time will be measured in second. This was the system which Britishers adopted. So we also see their footprints, the system footprints in India also. So here also we purchase flats in terms of square feet. We don't talk in terms of square meters or centimeters. Moreover, we talk in terms of square feet. That means uh, we are we were in the under the influence of British systems basically. Okay, so FPS system is a system which was followed moreover by Britishers basically. Then came a common system and an important system, and this all happened in 1961. Okay, so we call that system as SI system. So SI system, the full form, because it was being suggested in France, Paris, basically. The name of the system is in French. You can see System International d'Unit. Okay, which means International System of Unit. You also call this system as modern MK system. That means this MK system was modified. In MK system, you only had three fundamental quantities: meter, you can see length, mass, and time. Whereas in SI system, how many fundamental quantities we have? We have studied it yesterday. We have 7 fundamental quantities plus 2 supplementary quantities. And the remaining quantities were all categorized under derived quantities. This happened in 1960s, somewhere around 1960s. And from there onwards, we all adopt SI system across the globe to maintain the uniformity in all the systems, education, say for example, and the research also. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि इंडिया का रिसर्च उधर जाके एप्लीकेबल नहीं है. That should not happen. There has to be uniformity. Therefore, this system was adopted. This was the history regarding the system of units. Okay. So please take a screenshot of this before we move ahead, friends. Am I audible to everybody? Please tell me, give me the feedback. Any one of you can give me the feedback. Okay. Yeah, anyone. Brunal can give me the feedback. Reva can talk. Yes, Reva. Are you able to hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great.
Yes, sir.
हाँ ऐसा बीच बीच में बोलते रहो so that I feel we all are connected. Okay. So take a screenshot of this before we move ahead. So this is about the system of units. Okay, different systems of units. So which system do we follow? We follow SI system these days. Okay, so more or less we will be following SI system now. Right. Let's move ahead then. Okay. Now, important thing. This is something which you have never thought over. Okay. So try and understand this important thing. Now, what is this important thing? While writing the SI unit of a quantity, physical quantity, you have to follow some rules. We have never followed rules while writing the units. Now, here onwards, you people are expected to follow rules while writing the units. You don't do it, you will lose your marks. Even if most of the things are correct, and you don't follow these rules, that may reduce your marks. Okay, so it's not only about studying the rules, it's also about applying the rules in near future, so far as science is concerned. Okay, so let's see, this can be asked as a 2 marks question in examination also. In colleges they keep on asking such questions in exams. So what are the rules? So let's talk about the rules basically. The first rule, friends, try and understand this: the full name of a unit always starts with a small letter. Okay. Say for example, you want to write 10 Newton. Okay, so you want to write full name Newton. So you will start with a small letter. You will never start with a capital letter like that. You do it, you will lose your marks here onwards. Okay. आपका जो thesis है जहाँ पे भी जाएगा, it may go any university basically. They would always check, the rules are followed or not. So this is something for you all to learn now. New things coming into picture. So full name of the unit always starts with small letter, even if the unit is named after a person. Remember that. So you want to write 100 Newton completely, then start with a small letter. You want to write 100 Joule completely, start with the small letter, small case J. You can see, and not Newton and Joule. So take a quick screenshot of this before we move ahead. Important rule to be followed, observed. Okay, fine. Let's move ahead. Okay. The second rule, friends, can look over here in the screen. Symbol for unit named after a person. Now, if you are not writing complete unit, you are just writing symbol, and the unit is named after a person. Like Newton is the unit named after a person. Joule is the unit which is named after a person, and you are writing symbol, so that should be capital. You can capital N. If you are writing symbol, if you are writing complete, then it should start with a small letter. So if you write 100 Newton and Newton as a symbol, so N would be capital in that case. Similarly, J would be capital for Joule, A would be capital for ampere. Okay, when you write about current, electric current. So this is another rule which you need to follow. Okay, if you are writing it completely, you will write it in small letter. If you are writing a symbol, it should be in capital letter. And this is only when the unit is named after a person. Please take a quick screenshot of this, friends. Okay. Hopefully things are pretty clear till here. Let's move ahead. The next rule. Okay. Now what it says, symbols for all other units are written in small letter. If the unit was named after a person, then the symbol would have been capital. But meter is not the name of a person, so the symbol will be small. Small. Similarly, second is not the name of a person, so small s. Again, the next rule. So here onwards, you are writing units which are not named after a person in symbolized form. See to it that you mention them in small cases. Take a quick note of this before we move ahead. Hopefully things are pretty clear till here. Great. Let's move ahead. Okay. The next rule says you are not supposed to express the unit in plural form. So even if it is 25, you should not write meters. No plural.
Sir, can you
Let
show
it be
previous
1000.
slide?
Sorry. Yeah, Reva.
Can you show previous slide?
Yeah. No problem. No problem. I'll get back to the previous slide. Yes. So you take a screenshot of this, so it will serve as a note for you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. The next rule, I said you should not write it in plural form. So even if it is 25, you will write it as meter only. You cannot write it as meter, which we were doing earlier. Now here onwards you do it, you will lose marks. Okay. Had it been 1, so 1 को भी meter ही लिखेंगे, 25 को भी meter ही लिखेंगे. Right? This is how it has to be. This is the next rule. Please see to it that you take a note of this. Let's move ahead then. Let's move ahead. Important thing to be understood. No full stop or any punctuation mark after writing the symbol. ऐसा कभी मत करते जाओ कि kg के बाद full stop लगा दिया. You know, after Newton, you put it as full stop or a bracket and double dot, something like this. You never represent it this way. Simply write it as kg and not kg like this. Okay, you're supposed to write it like this. No punctuation mark after you write down the unit, even if the statement gets completed. This is the rule which we need to follow, friends. So, make a note of this before we move ahead. These are certain rules which they may ask you as a question also, but then they will check whether you are following it or while you are writing or calculating certain things. So hopefully these things are pretty clear to everybody, isn't it? Hopefully yes. Yes.
Yes.
Many of you can respond. Yeah, Reva, you said yes. What about others? Krunal, are you able to hear me? Am I audible to you? Okay. Krunal Mahajan, you can unmute and speak if you want to respond. Okay. Fine. Let's move ahead then. Okay. So because we have said the fundamental quantities would be length, mass and time, let's understand the methods for measurement of length. So this is a common method where you use the meter scale or a tape to measure length. For ordinary measurements, you can say for length. But when it comes to larger distances, say you want to measure the distance between a planet from Earth, can you measure it with the help of a measuring tape or a scale? No. So then in that case, we need to use certain methods. Okay, so one of the important methods is parallax method. You can see an important method in such cases where you need to measure larger distance. So smaller distance you can measure, you can use meter scale, you can use vernier calipers, you can use micrometer screw gauge. But then for larger distances, there are certain different methods to be adopted. So one of the method is parallax method. So we will try to understand parallax method also. Before we go towards parallax method, we'll take a screenshot of this. Okay, let's move ahead, friends. Let's talk about this. So what is a parallax method? You can see. So on your screen, you will find there are 2 points, A and a point over here, B. You can see. And say S is that star. A and B are the points on the earth. Okay, and S is the star. So from two different points on the earth, say point A and point B. So point A may be located in US, point B may be located in India. So from two different points, what you can do is, you can, focus the star. And with the help of instruments, you will be able to get this angle. Okay, so getting angle is very important. Theta is that angle. With the help of instruments, you will get it. Obviously, randomly, you don't select that angle. Okay. Nowadays, GPS does it for us. पूरा latitudes देता है, पूरा angles देता है, location, complete details देता है. So you can measure theta in that. So once you measure theta, as per geometry, you can draw a triangle like this. You know B. B can be measured because B is the distance on Earth. You can measure the distance between A and B. Why you can measure the distance between A and B? Because it is possible to measure. These points lie on Earth. So you can measure B. You can measure theta, but you cannot measure D. This is the important point. So you can see from one point you are focusing the star. From the second point on the earth you are focusing the star. So you are actually parallelly focusing the star from 2 points. Therefore the method is parallax method. And here we would be working out geometry, friends. Okay, just a minute. Okay, Reva, how will you share the recording of the classes? Yeah, if people were absent and I get it from Zoom, I can share that with the students. No problem regarding that. Okay, so I've started the recording. Let's see. Look here now. Let's concentrate on this method. So I said from point A you can focus on star S. From point B you can focus on star S. You can measure angle theta with the instruments. And you can measure B also. The only unknown is D. So from geometry, we all know we can measure D then in that case. Hence, this is what it, so this angle will be called as parallatic angle, or we also call it as parallax angle. Basically. The spelling is wrong over here. Okay? Parallatic angle. So theta is to be established. AB equal to B can be found out on the earth because they can be the observatories on the earth. Easy to know this distance. Okay, so you know theta, you know B, indirectly you can work out D. So that's how you can actually measure larger distance. the planet is far away, you can see p by d, that ratio will be less, very less than 1. Therefore theta will be small. Okay, that distance is more, theta will be very less. And then if theta is less, then instead of sine theta and all that, so directly you can use the geometry, you can find out. So you can write b is equal to d theta. आर्क लेंथ का हमने जो सर्कल वगैरह में यूज किया था ज्योमेट्री में, उसी का फायदा इधर भी होगा. So you know theta, you know b, can you find out d? Yes, this is how you work out d, friends. Are you getting it? So d will be given by b by theta. So indirectly you can measure larger distances using parallax method. So please check out, you can just have a quick screenshot of this before we move ahead. I can show you some pictures also. I can show you some pictures also over here. Okay. So pictures mein it is being shown how parallax method is utilized to actually measure larger distance. You can have a look at it. Okay. This is something which I was telling you. How we use parallax method to measure larger distance. The important thing is the distance on Earth can be measured, and you need to get that parallatic angle. You can work out the other distances consequently. And take a screenshot of this before we move ahead, friends. So this was regarding measuring distance, larger distance. So there are other aspects also which we should take into consideration. So let's talk about measurement of mass. You might have seen the shopkeepers using, the weights to measure mass basically, or the jewelers using a different type of balance for measuring mass, isn't it? So we will study about how we measure mass. The smaller mass, mass of an electron or a proton, you cannot measure with the help of these instruments, right? So how do we measure it? With the help of, a comparison, with the help of a reference, and that reference is atomic mass unit. इसी को हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं? AMU. This is called as AMU. Okay? AMU means atomic mass unit. One unified atomic mass unit. So that is equal to how much basically? That is equal to 0.833 into 10 raised to minus 1 of mass of an atom of carbon-12 in kg. So one atomic mass unit will be equal to this much. So other masses, small masses, can be expressed in terms of unified atomic mass unit. So this is how you will measure smaller masses. Now when it comes to larger masses, we'll talk about that also. Larger masses, comparatively larger masses, you can see these are the materials, so these are the instruments with which you can measure the comparatively larger masses. So this is the methodology for measuring small mass, you can see. Okay. More larger masses, here in this case, like planets, stars, can be measured by, you cannot measure it with the balances, right? You have to measure it with some methods. So which methods? So gravitational methods. And who proposed all these methods? So Newton proposed the gravitational methods to measure the weights of planets, masses of planets and stars, okay, based on his law of gravitation. So for measurement of small masses of atomic and subatomic particles, okay, what you do is you use a mass spectrograph, okay, in which the radius of the trajectory is proportional to the mass. अभी जिसका मास ज्यादा रहेगा स्मॉलर एटम का, उसका क्या हो जाएगा बेसिकली, उसका ट्रैजेक्टरी का जो रेडियस है वो it would be more, it will fall early basically. If mass is very less, it will keep on flowing. So that trajectory decides, okay. So and that spectrograph is designed on the basis of how the trajectory of the mass of the charged particle would be. So this is the, this is just need to know information how you actually measure small masses. So take a quick screenshot of this very important slide for you people. Okay. Because when we talk about measurement of mass, ये normal masses का हम लोगों के लिए बहुत clear हो जाता है. It's very easy to understand. But when it comes to subatomic particles or then these things are very important, which we are not aware of frequently. We don't talk about it frequently. This is something which you need to know before you start studying science. Hopefully things are pretty clear till here. So this was the slide pertaining to measurement of mass. Okay. Yeah, Anushka, please unmute and speak what you want to say.
Sir, what is trajectory?
Sorry.
What is trajectory?
Trajectory is the path followed by the charged particle in the air. Okay.
Okay.
That is the trajectory.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, fine. So let's move ahead then. Length हो गया, mass हो गया, then we need to discuss about time. So time, so we all know we need a clock. We have different time zones also across the globe. But then there has to be some standardized system, right, to determine a second or a minute, and it should be uniform all across. Maybe the time zones are different, that's a different issue. But then the measurement basis should be uniform all across. So then how you decide 1 second? 1 second कैसे define करेंगे? Obviously 1 second को अगर define करना है हमको, so we are going to make use of periodic vibration, which will be produced in cesium atom basically. This is being used to determine time, okay, to define time. So this is the basis of cesium clock. ये cesium clock पे हमने define किया है, and then it is being adjusted in all other clocks in the world. So we call that as atomic clock. So this atomic clock is being designed with the help of periodic vibrations in cesium atom friends. Okay, so let's see. Let's understand the definition. Now what this says, according to the cesium atomic clock, a second is defined as the time needed for, look here, concentrate high. Look at this point, okay? According to the cesium atomic clock, how do you define 1 second? It is defined as the time needed for this entire vibration, okay, this number, entire vibrations of radiation. You getting it? So these vibrations will produce radiation. ये पूरे जितने vibrations के लिए जितना time लगता है, that is 1 second. Remember that. That's how 1 second is defined. So very important. So the vibration of cesium atom regulates the rate of this cesium atomic clock, just like the variation of balance wheel regulates an ordinary wristwatch, or vibration of small quartz crystal regulates quartz wristwatch. You can see the same thing is being transferred there. Right. Take a quick screenshot of this, friends. Hopefully you have taken the screenshot. Okay. Now why we have selected cesium atomic clock? They are very, very accurate. They lose or gain no more than 3 microseconds in 1 year. I say. Important thing to note, okay? They lose or gain not more than 3 microseconds in 1 year. Look at the way they are accurate at, basically. Therefore, for regulating the entire time across the globe, we need cesium atomic clock, or we use cesium atomic clock. Okay, this is how they look like, cesium atomic clocks. For all of us who have not seen these cesium atomic clocks anytime in life, you can have a look at the pictures how cesium atomic clocks they look like. Yeah, you can take a quick screenshot of this. So quickly, I'll tell you about the review, what all things we have gone through today. So today, importantly, you can see we did discuss. Let's go back parallelly. Quickly, I'll just you know, run you through what we have discussed for the day. Okay, we discussed about system of units. Okay, in system of units, we did mention Gauss and his proposal. Then we did discuss about different systems of units like CGS system, MKS system, FPS system. We did have a look at the history of how system international or SI system was generated. Then we did talk about the rules for writing down the unit. So when the unit is, we did talk about that also. Rules for writing down the unit. Different rules which we came across. Then after that, we did talk about how we measure fundamental quantities like length, time, and mass in greater details. Because we didn't discuss general measurements, we discussed micro measurements and the larger measurements basically. Okay, so the first discussion was pertaining to length. Okay, we did talk about a method called as parallax method, which is very important. I did show you this diagram or the photograph also basically how exactly it works out, and we use simple geometry working it out. Okay. Then we did talk about how we measure mass. It was not only about the general mass, it was about the micro mass also. So we did talk about what one atomic mass unit is. You should remember that. We did talk about how larger masses are measured with the help of Newton's formula and Newton's law. Okay, we did talk about the spectrograph and the radius of the trajectory of the charged particle, determining small masses. How spectrograph works, we did talk about that. Let's move ahead. Finally, we did talk about time, how we measure time. So time कैसे measure करते, we all know. Now we are aware of the cesium atomic clock, isn't it? So we did talk about how 1 second is being defined. It's defined as the time needed for these many vibrations of radiation. All right. And finally, I told you why cesium atomic clocks are used, because they are very accurate. How much accurate? So accurate to this level. They lose or gain no more than 3 microseconds in 1 year. That's accurate they are. And these are the pictures of cesium atomic clocks. So I believe this was the thing for the day. Anybody who wants to slowly we will increase the time. Okay. Initially you get habituated to this. So next time on Thursday when we meet at the same time, you will get the invitation for Thursday. We will carry on discussing this, okay, in greater details. So till that time, you people also see to it that you keep on revising, okay. People should keep on revising stuff, basically, so that it becomes very comfortable for you when the